And straight after Kent tonight, we have a brand new episode of Kent Film Club where we look at the impact certain films have had on our guests' lives to give us an idea of what's to come and some of the latest film news. For show presenter Chris Deacy joins me now. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, as always. We've been talking a lot on this programme tonight about the general election. I'm not going to ask you, are there any general election films? I don't think there are they? I don't think there's anything to do with one.
Well, no, but the election, certainly in America, films like The Candidate, Robert Redford, which is all about a political campaign, very prescient as well. That was made in 1972. And the way in which you then have, of course, later than that, we had Ronald Reagan, who was an actor who went to the White House. So, and Warren Beatty, who ran for the Democrat nomination at an earlier stage in, that would have been, in the run-up to 2000. And of course, Donald Trump, who has a career outside of politics. So sometimes the unexpected happens. And watching films about those unlikely political heroes, I think, is something that we can enjoy almost as a respite from the day-to-day election campaign.
Now, what about escapism for the general election? Us reporters, we're out and about on the general election trail around Kent almost every day at the moment. In the evening, what movies do you think would be a good sit back, relax and watch?
Well, a rom-com can often be a nice antidote to that. I mean, as I was saying, I think to Sophia a few weeks ago, there are some films that are rom-coms with an election background. There was one, for example, made about 20 years ago during the Definitely Maybe, that was made around the time of the Bill Clinton election in '92. But at the moment, there are quite a few films. There's the post-apocalyptic, which of course, now all of the films that are out at the moment, they would have been set before the election was called. So having a film that's post-apocalyptic at a time of a general election almost is not the sort of antidote that you're looking for. But there's the Bike Riders coming up this weekend. But actually Freud's Last Session, which I saw on the weekend, and it's charting the imaginary conversation between C.S. Lewis and Sigmund Freud at the beginning of the Second World War. Now that is riveting viewing because Anthony Hopkins plays Freud, but 30 years ago in Shadowlands he played Lewis himself. So it's a battle between faith and doubt and sort of the two titans of the first part of the 20th century. Before C.S. Lewis wrote the Narnia stories, then actually that's a really fascinating sort of what if. Life is full of those, the sliding doors moments.
Yeah.
What if these people had met? Because they might have done. Freud did in the last few weeks meet an Oxford Don, a young Oxford Don. It could have been C.S. Lewis, and the film is predicated on that premise.
Now, what movies, what films are coming out to the cinema or what's already out there that we should be going to watch over the next week?
So I'm looking forward to The Exorcism, which is showing in a few cinemas around Kent tomorrow. There's been a lot of those sort of horror films, but as somebody with a religious studies hat on, I'm a glutton for those kind of films. And Russell Crowe, who's no stranger to that genre either, is playing the starring role in that. So the Bike Riders I'm looking forward to seeing on Sunday. And also it's really exciting, a Western that Kevin Costner has made called Horizon. I'm seeing a preview screening of that on Monday because he won an Oscar for Dances with Wolves in 1990. For 1990, but the ceremony was in '91. Famously beat Martin Scorsese for Goodfellas. So it'll be interesting to see 30 years on how the Western and a revisionist Western that can be tackled by none other than Kevin Costner.
And in 20 seconds, give us a tease of your show tonight.
So we have Numi Gildert, who's a KMFM presenter. In fact, she's on right this moment. And brilliant because she has a background in robotics and a PhD, but went into radio. And her films include Lord of the Rings. And you'll have to wait to see which one it is.
Well, not long to wait because Kent Film Club, straight after Kent tonight in, I haven't got to watch on, in around about 3 minutes time. In about 3 minutes time. And that's all we got time for this evening. Chris Deacy's back in a few minutes time with Kent Film Club. See you soon.